Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, we're going to be doing a little bit of short-term technical analysis, building off of what we talked about in yesterday's video. In yesterday's video, you can watch that video linked in the top right to be caught up. In yesterday's video, we talked about this consolidation pattern that Bitcoin found itself in, and I laid out the bullish argument and the bearish argument for both directions of a potential breakout. We saw that Bitcoin did, in fact, break bullish. But in today's video, I want to talk about this quote-unquote, scare quotes, breakout that we've seen in Bitcoin right here, because this, for a word, was underwhelming. Bitcoin broke out by about 1.5%. Now, granted, this was not the largest consolidation pattern ever, but we didn't see a very large breakout, and Bitcoin actually didn't even get above the high over here at the beginning of the breakout. So in today's video, I'm going to be laying out exactly how a breakout, a bullish breakout of a consolidation pattern, can actually turn into a bearish thing. We're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's video, guys. So if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, guys. I do apologize. The video is out a little bit late today. I have been ridiculously busy lately, but I got to make sure I get you guys the videos. So anyway, guys, now without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin on Coinbase anyway is trading around $3,600, just a little bit up. As you can see, we saw a little bit of a 1 minute kind of Bart Simpson up here. Not exactly a Bart Simpson. We saw a little rally on Bitcoin and pulled back down. Nothing really to write home about there. But basically, after Bitcoin broke out, we've seen a lot of sideways trading here over the last 24 hours or so because Bitcoin broke bullish. And like I said in the intro, we didn't see a lot of bullish price action. We didn't see a lot of exuberance following that breakout in the way that we would like to have seen. In fact, what we're seeing is that Bitcoin rallied and has gradually been moving downwards ever since then. You can kind of divide this breakout into two sections. Right here would be the dividing line. Let's go ahead and put a line right there so you can see what I'm talking about. Right here, Bitcoin was moving up, and ever since then, Bitcoin has been trending downward, and that's actually a very bad sign. I'm going to be explaining what that means in a little bit, but I do want to go ahead and get to the crypto market recap and talk about the health of the crypto markets in general before we get on to the rest of the technical analysis. Anyway, Bitcoin basically hasn't moved at all in the last 24 hours, trading around $3,653 across all exchanges. That is the current average price of Bitcoin with a current market capitalization of just a little over $63 billion. As we can see, the vast majority of the market is red in the top 10 anyway. We do see some double-digit gainers in Loopring, Steam, and 10x. 10x has not 10x today, but it has gone up by 20%. The rest of the market is rather neutral. As we can see, Bitcoin is sitting here splitting the middle, almost perfectly neutral, so the altcoins are kind of just doing their thing. Most of them are red, but we're not seeing very deep reds. We see Wax and Bugraya coin, I love saying that word, Bugraya coin, are down by 17%. Bugraya coin has been getting just decimated over the last couple of weeks. I have a feeling Bugraya coin in the next couple of days is going to be out of the top 100. Either way, that is what the crypto markets look like today. Not a whole lot we want to talk about. Bitcoin volume hovering around $5 billion. Nothing, excuse me, really important to write home about on CoinMarketCap in today's video, other than the fact that the altcoins are in general kind of trending to the downside. Anyway, now let's go ahead and get back on into the TA here on Bitcoin. And I'm going to be drawing some parallels between what is going on with Bitcoin right now to what Bitcoin has done in the past and also what Ethereum has done in the past. I'm going to show you guys some examples of why this little, like I said earlier, quote-unquote breakout could actually end up being a bad thing, and we may end up seeing some bearish price action come out of this. Now, if Bitcoin does bounce here and start heading up, then that's definitely a possibility, guys. I can definitely see Bitcoin moving to the upside here, but I do want to lay out a scenario where something bad could happen here, because I've seen this happen so many times, and it often takes people by surprise. And the last thing I want you guys to be is surprised about the direction of the market so that you guys can be prepared for it. So let me go ahead and show you an example of what happened in a recent consolidation pattern that Bitcoin found itself in. This consolidation pattern was obviously not that long ago. In fact, if you go back about a week and a half on the channel, back over towards the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, you will see me talking about this consolidation pattern that I just drew on the chart. And what we saw here is Bitcoin broke bullish. We rallied, and from there we traded sideways, and very quickly that bullish breakout that we saw actually turned into a bearish breakout. And that's why we're not trading around $4,000 right now. We're trading about 10% lower than that. And that's why we're even down here in the first place, because Bitcoin had a bullish breakout, traded sideways, and then actually the real breakout was actually to the downside. So we lost all of the gains that we made right here, and then we lost about that many gains to the bottom. So we lost about 50% of our gains going back to where we started, and then we lost even more. So the breakout was actually in the short term to the bullish, to the bullish side, but it actually ended up being kind of a bearish breakout. And that's why I'm kind of concerned about happening here with Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin coming up here, having this nice little breakout, and then actually falling off because the bulls are not strong enough to hold that exuberance that they need to rally Bitcoin and push Bitcoin to the upside. Because what it looks like right now is that the bulls managed to get a breakout. Like I've said in previous videos, when you get close to the climax of a consolidation pattern, sometimes the correct faction, that being the strongest faction, doesn't have the breakout. Sometimes it comes down to random chance, and sometimes the wrong faction takes control of the market. And right now, what it looks like to me is that the wrong faction has taken control of the market. The bulls have taken control of the market, and in fact, the bears are the ones that are more powerful, which is being shown by the fact that we're trending downward right here. What I'm concerned about is Bitcoin pulling back down here and testing $3,575, this level of support that we've been talking about a lot, and potentially even breaking it, as we saw back over here. This level has been breached recently. There is a precedent for that. So the point I want to make is I want you guys to watch out for that. If you're going to put a stop loss anywhere, and I always recommend you guys have stop losses, I would have a stop loss 1, maybe 2% below this level of support. I've laid out in other videos, you can browse the channel and find them, about why this is an important level of support. We have touches there, 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 there. You guys have probably heard this mantra 5 times by now, but this is an important level of support, and if Bitcoin breaks it, as you can see right here, we're probably going to see a big red candlestick. So if you're going to have a stop loss, there's definitely a chance that we're going below this level of support. I would hold a level of support and a level of stop loss right there. Let me show you another example of what I'm talking about happening way back in the day on the Ethereum chart. And this was the example that I pulled up when I first laid out this scenario. And if we come back over here to November and September and October on the Ethereum chart, what we saw is that Ethereum was in a very long-term consolidation pattern, about a 2-week consolidation pattern. Not drastically long, but definitely long-ish for the market, if you want to put it that way. We saw Ethereum was in this consolidation pattern here on the ETH/USD chart, and Ethereum actually did manage to break bullish. And like I said, we came in here very close to the end of the consolidation pattern. We moved in very tight. Ethereum got very, very tight here in this consolidation pattern. We saw a lot of bouncing around. We saw very low volatility, and that built tension. And what you see happen when you have a lot of tension, you're close to the end of a consolidation pattern, is sometimes a bull or a bear whale will come in and buy a bunch of Bitcoin, sell a bunch of Bitcoin, long a bunch of Bitcoin, or short a bunch of Bitcoin. In short, they will either short or long the market with a large position. Or sometimes the market will just have a breakout naturally. And right here, we saw Ethereum actually broke bullish. And a lot of people, including myself, were hoping that Ethereum was going to rally here. But the lesson we learned back here was that, in fact, just because you initially broke bullish does not mean you're out of the woods yet. Because what we saw here with Ethereum is Ethereum started trending downwards exactly the same way that Bitcoin is right now. If we look at the market right now, you see this market looks almost exactly parallel. We broke bullish and started trending downward. And if we look here on Ethereum broke bullish and started trending downward, and then we saw a massive sell-off below levels of support. As you can see over here, that's exactly what happened. This downtrend of resistance became a level of support. This downtrend of resistance became an uptrend, become a downtrend of support, and Ethereum eventually broke it and had a very, very bearish movement, and this is where you would have wanted to place your stop loss. And I think Bitcoin might be repeating this point in history for Ethereum, and I think we may be about to see some bearish movement coming out of Bitcoin, actually, guys. I've talked about in the past about how I think Bitcoin is mostly trading sideways, but I do still think the bears are just ever so slightly more powerful than the bulls right now. I don't think it's very strong, but when it comes to breakouts like these, sometimes they don't have to be that strong. Sometimes they don't. As we saw over here, the bulls had a very nice breakout, but it turns out the bears were the ones that were actually in control of the market, and the same thing might happen here, guys. We very well may see Bitcoin come down and break this level of support, or even come down here to this downtrend and break it as a level of support. I would be very, very careful in this market right now. Just because Bitcoin had a breakout does not necessarily mean that the bulls are in control and that we're blue sky breakout right now. So keep that in mind. That's basically what we wanted to talk about in today's video. I also want to show you a couple of other things. That would include the Bitcoin shorts chart. I talked about this, I believe, in yesterday's video about how Bitcoin shorts are actually rising. That's something to keep an eye on. Bitcoin shorts haven't risen all that much, only a couple of percentage points. Definitely a trend to keep up with, though. And longs are also likewise rising, but they've basically stagnated. So keep that in mind. On the short term, over the last 2 days, longs have stayed steady and shorts are rising. That's an important thing to keep in mind because Bitcoin shorts and Bitcoin longs are a very good way of determining whether the strength of the bulls is stronger or whether the strength of the bears is stronger. And right now, it's pointing towards the bears being a little bit stronger. Keep that in mind, guys. The entire point of this video is to warn you that we very well may be about to see some kind of bearish breakout below this level of support. Use your stop losses. Be very careful in these markets. You can lose a lot of money where you don't need to. As you can see, we're kind of moving a little bit down right now anyway. Let's sit here for a second and see if we actually see this bearish breakout. That'd be kind of funny. Anyway, guys, like I said, that is basically the point of today's video. If you do want to learn more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical analysis, it is a very enjoyable thing to do, and it is a very profitable skill to have. I really do enjoy making these videos, guys. Every time I make a video, it never feels like work. It feels like fun because I get to interact with you guys, and I also get to do one of my favorite things, which is chart reading. But of course, things aren't always all that enjoyable when you don't know what you're doing. So if you guys want to learn about cryptocurrency technical analysis, or if you're already very skilled in cryptocurrency technical analysis and you just want to have a little refresher, I highly recommend the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, linked in the description down below. A lot of what I just talked about in this video is gone over in extreme depth. In that, I talked about the strength of the bulls and the bears. I talked about consolidation patterns. I talked about levels of support and resistance. I talked about the strength of the bulls and the bears and support and resistance. I talked about all these things in this video, and I go in extreme depth and detail on that in the CT2A, in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Anyway, guys, that's enough shameless self-promotion in today's video. I do want to start a little thing here at the end of the video, and that is I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below what you would like me to see. What you would like me to see. Well, what you would like to see me do a video on over the next couple of days. I have a couple of ideas for videos. I mean, there's always stuff to talk about in the markets. One video idea I do have and that I'm going to be executing on pretty soon is this stock market recovery. As you can see, the S&P 500 has had a nice little bounce and is rallying pretty strongly, actually. I do want to talk about this and kind of touch on whether or not the idea of a global recession is pushed off. Tell me what you think about a video on the stock markets, and also give me any ideas that you would like to see for a future video. Anyway, guys, that is basically going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.